From the world of AV programming and control with James King, I'm Steve Greenblatt, and this is Ask the Programmer. James, how are you today?
Doing good, Steve, and yourself?
I'm doing well. Glad we're back for another recording, and looking forward to seeing you in person in a few weeks. And this is kind of a timely discussion. We're only a few weeks out of it from InfoComm 2025, and we're going to talk a little bit about why we attend, not just InfoComm, but other trade shows and events. What I know InfoComm, you're a little bit newer to it, and but every time I see you, you always seem to be really just taking it all in, and like I feel like you've been there for forever. So what's given you that comfort level and inspiration?
So, yeah, I mean, my first official InfoComm was it 2020 or 2021? The one that was in Florida right after COVID. That was my first official one. Stephen, you and I met down there, um, in person. I mean, we were connected online prior, and then I've been going every year since then. And one is the people, really. That's what drives me. I mean, yes, it's cool to go see the tech. Yes, it's cool to go have conversations about programming, all that stuff, but really connecting with the people, networking, building that, network in the community is what drives me. And then, also the education sessions. I'm a big one. Anyone who follows me online, they know always be learning. And in fact, like this year, I'll be on three panels. So going from attending the session to presenting at them.
Yeah, you talk about that a little bit because I it's something that I got into early on too, and when I did it, somebody had first asked me to do something, and I kind of got the bug, and it's a lot of work. It's like let's not kid ourselves. It's not something that you just hop in and do overnight. It's something that you really have to be prepared for. You have to have be know how to present, how to speak, and obviously be knowledgeable about the subject matter.
Um, I mean, that's one thing about me. People who know me, I'm a very roll with the punches. I can pick up things and go. And but yeah, if you like you say, if I don't not knowledgeable about the topic, I wouldn't say I would have to be 100% like an SME in it, but at least have some knowledge to be able to talk about it. If I have very little knowledge, yeah, I would not put myself out there in that area. But like what drives me to do that is it was actually funny. I had a conversation with somebody early on, and we were talking about value, like being valued. And one of the things we always talked about was, well, if people are hiring you or people ask you to speak or some, they feel you have value. And it was like a little after which was somebody who had no part of the conversation, it was one of my LinkedIn connections, reach out to me and it was like, "Hey James, you want to be on a panel for InfoComm?" I'm like, "Sure." Like, why not? Like, let's give it a shot. And I really enjoyed it. We're actually this is going to be our third year doing a similar panel, but it's more of a, it has involved each year. In fact, we just got off a call yesterday talking about or and planning it. So yeah, that's good. Being able, like I said, if someone asks you like, "Hey, do you want to be on this panel? Do you want to speak?" It means that they feel you have value, and I really do take that to heart. That okay, someone at least one person wants to listen to what I have to say. Um, and that's one thing I'm very big on it. The first year that we taught that InfoComm, I when we were planning it, I was like, we really need to explain to people why we're on stage. Because when I'm in the audience, I always in my mind, it's why are you up on there and why are you talking to me? Because if I can't buy into like, okay, you really know what you're talking about, it's not a good session. So I always like to try to say, like, here's my background in this topic. This is why I'm up here. You can
I,
buy it, you cannot. That's up to you, but at least you know why I'm in value.
I bet too, and at least what I found is that you every year you do it, you feel more confident, you get stronger, you're learning skills, you're probably learning from the people who attend, which I find is insightful. You make connections because of it, and you probably are setting yourself up for the next opportunity. Just by being out there, and it's a great way to promote yourself too for being at the show. I mean, I like right before this, I was just posting about the session that I'm doing at this year's InfoComm. So it's to me, I think that, and lastly, it's good. It's giving back. It's there's so much value and so much positive that you can get out of it. But it's a commitment, and it's something that doing the first one is probably the hardest part.
Yes, definitely giving your first presentation is definitely the hardest. Um, I kind of learned this trick in high school and college, giving presentations. And I don't think it applies really well to conferences because the audience is a little different there. But having the mindset when I was in high school and college, when I was giving presentations, allowed me to get comfortable with speaking in front of people. Was my mindset was, well, when I'm in college and when I was in high school and college, when I was sitting in class and someone was presenting, I really wasn't paying attention that much. I'll admit it. Well, if I'm not, I'm sure at least half of the class is not as well. So the same thing is like, okay, I'm up there talking. No one's really paying attention to what I'm saying. So I kind of got that comfort of being in front of people, just having an idea, they're probably not even listening to a word I'm saying. Um, but here, like InfoComm, the audience, they're there for a purpose. They're there to learn. So that is different. You can't go in there with that mindset because they are listening. They want to learn from you. But I think having that practice in the high school and college gave me the comfort of speaking in front of people.
Yeah. I did didn't do as much of that in my I guess in college certainly, but high school maybe a little bit more. It's certainly something that I've taken to, and I feel it. If I wouldn't have done that, I probably would have not been able to do podcasting, let's say, probably not be able to feel as comfortable in meetings or networking events or talking to people or and as you said, you once you're up in front of people, you're already given a certain amount of respect, and people know, hey, this person speaks, this person is presents. They know what they're talking about, and I think that you're looked upon a little bit differently. Uh, Let's take this a little bit toward programmers and discuss why should programmers go to either InfoComm or other events. I know that there are some that are more programmer centric, or that are put on by manufacturers. Um, what's the value aside from the obvious of learning and seeing the tech?
Conversations. I really, last year, InfoComm, I really made a purpose of mine, especially with my new role as a direct assistant director, to have key conversations with key people. Um, and yes, you can do that, not at these shows, but this show gives you, like shows like InfoComm or other events out there, give you, I guess the best way I can kind of explain it is speed dating with manufacturers. You can hit many of them and have detailed pointed discussion and hopefully with the right people, or they can get you in the contact with the right people, because not every booth have the right engineers or and things like that. So as a programmer, I mean, that was things I was asking. Like when I went to booths, I would sit there and be like, "Hey, do you have an API? Do you have this? Do you like how does this communicate?" When I actually remember one year I got pulled into a hush room, backdoor room of a new product, and I'm asking questions, and even the engineer who was there and explaining, he's like, you are asking all the right questions. Like these are questions we want, not those, oh, how pretty is it? How much does it cost? They wanted those technical details. And yeah, it was definitely it's a good spot. And like you said, like I was saying, it's like speeding. You can go from one to the next to the next instead of being like, okay, I gotta make a meeting with this company and then maybe a week later make another meeting with another company. It's like, hey, they're all here. I can hit them all up at once.
Yeah, I like your strategy. I would very much agree that I look at this as kind of like a reunion every year, and I've been going to a lot of InfoComs, but I feel like if I missed it, I kind of would it would I would miss out on being updated, let's say, for the year, and also there are certain types of conversations, as you mentioned, that you're not going to have on a video call so much. Or there, it also creates some bonds that you're not going to be able to do being on a video call. You're not going to, start talking about, hey, what's going on with your family, let's say, or what do you like to do for fun, or try to get a better sense of people, and or just see them in a different setting. To me, it creates a lot more familiarity, and that eases that relationship building.
Yeah, that is a good point. 100% agree with that. You in person, you can always make a better connection than virtually. Another thing I want to add to, especially for programming, which programmers, and this will go for anybody, but I'm targeting our programmers here, is the scale. Um, like you can actually network with folks, maybe you know a programmer in another company. Yeah, they're your competitors, okay, but there you can come together and go to these manufacturers with the same problem. And now if you have multiple people saying they trying to listen a little bit, and I'll give a prime example. It wasn't programming, but last year I I stopped at the HEPMA booth, shout out to HEPMA. I was talking with a, a school from Hawaii, and we were talking and we are like both were heading to this manufacturer. I'm not even gonna name the manufacturer. We're both heading to their booth. And I was like, hey, let's walk together, we talk, and we get there, we see our rep nicely, we both have the same rep, and we're talking and I have this unicorn I'm looking for. So I'm telling my rep, I'm like, hey, I'm looking for this unicorn. It needs to do X, Y, and Z. And she's like, hold on, let me get my product manager. He came out. I gave him the same spiel. I'm like, this is the product I'm looking for, X, Y, and Z. Yeah, I know it's a unicorn. This is what. And he's like, hold on, let me get my manager. We're getting key people in the room. We're talking. His manager comes out, tell him the same thing. And he starts going, I see it. And then the folks from Hawaii go, we want that unicorn too. And his whole expression changed. And he's like, oh, maybe we can, and you can hear because now he's seeing more. It wasn't one person asking, it's multiple people asking.
Yeah, that's actually a really, really good point. I, in a similar vein, I use this as a way of being able to maybe poll a bunch of people so that you can find out, hey, what do you think, the latest trend is, or what's something that you need, or what's something that you're struggling with, or do you think that this would be helpful for you from a service provider standpoint? That's really a good way of being able to kind of get a sense of what the audience needs. I remember last year in particular having conversations at the HETMA booth if we're going to call them out, which is really great because I know I can go there and find a bunch of people that are programmers and
Yep.
hey, what devices do you commonly work with so that I can go perhaps and talk to those manufacturers and we could talk about building modules or drivers or plugins for you. That's a great example to me of being able to do something that would be almost impossible to do from afar.
Oh yes, and it like I said, it's a central location. You get a whole bunch of people together, and you can do things at scale. You can have large meetings, multiple meetings, or go as a group and share your concerns with manufacturers and your needs, or be I'll steal a word from our good friend Dan Farisi, be a conduit for our users and stuff at these shows and our industry and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, all, all good things. I couldn't agree more. I I guess for programmers that are listening, if you haven't been, or if you have the opportunity to go, or if you're even considering going to events, even if it's something that's local, check it out and go there with a plan and go there knowing that you have you want to be able to demonstrate to yourself, your boss, that it was a worthwhile event. James, in closing, what are maybe a few tips that you would give to somebody who is going for a first time, or maybe is looking to get more out of going to an event?
Most you can get out of an event, and I still feel this is true to any event, is networking with the people there. You never know when that connection could be valuable to you. I mean, again, going back to my history, using my example, my first InfoComm I went out to, I met many higher ed folks who were there. One of them who was, Frank from UNLV AV. We really connected. When this position opened, he sent me the link for it. So you never know where your next opportunity is coming from. Just because we had that connection, we met, we knew what we could do together. And same thing with programming. You might find your next job, or a partner that you could build with. I mean, Steve, on our HETMA virtual conference, you and I connected and we built this podcast off of that. Yeah, that wasn't in person, but it was still a conference where two of us came together. We're like, hey, here's a need, let's do this.
Yep, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And I would add on to that, and you mentioned this earlier, is that these are the people that you're going to reach out to when you need something, when you're struggling with a problem, when you need a tip, when you're eh, just looking for somebody that to brainstorm with. You can really finding peers is really critical in my opinion. Um, a couple of things that I would say would be business cards. Make sure that you have them and you collect them, but also make notes as to who these people are, because a lot of times you empty your pockets at the end of the day and you go home with a stack of cards and you don't realize, like, why when I met this person, what did we discuss, or what was the action step, or so on and so forth. So being able to take notes, and another thing that my wife would do is she would take pictures of the cards so that you don't lose them, and then you could also use that to take some notes. Um, and all the other things that people say about being hydrated and wearing comfortable shoes and so on and so forth. Those are to me the baseline requirements. Just make sure that you are focused in what your objectives are, because it's very easy, especially at a big event, to get turned around and find yourself several hours later not really accomplishing a lot because you didn't really have a plan, and you weren't able to stay focused. So a couple of things there.
All great tips.
So if people want to learn more, continue the conversation, and also meet us at InfoComm, how can they get in touch with you, James, and keep up with what you're doing?
So, I mean, again, I love running into our listeners at shows. So if you see me, grab me, say hi. I do tend to be running around a lot. So you might have to grab me, say hi, stop me. If you are at the show, you're still looking to register for things, like I mentioned on top of this, I'm doing sessions. So I'm doing a security panel for the HEPMA conference or the summit, sorry, the summit. That's on Tuesday afternoon. Wednesday, I think it's more morning, early morning, doing a panel with a couple other higher ed folks of what is it? Big AV for a small school. And then Wednesday afternoon, it's a hands-on lab where we're doing how to design the classroom. So again, if any of those are interested, you sign them up, attend them. We would love to have you there. But again, find me on show floor. I'll be around. Hit me up on LinkedIn if you're at the show. I'll love to connect. At my booth. If I'm not walking the floor or a session, I'll be at the At my booth.
Yeah, awesome. And as you can find James on social media and so on and so forth. But and reach out. And it's always hard to track people down, so it's good to be able to know how to contact them or make a connection up front if you are attending and you do want to contact and meet up with us. But please reach out. For me, you could reach me at Steve Greenblatt on social media. My company, Control Concepts, is a supporter of the show. We design the building blocks that help programmers get their projects done, whether you're interfacing with a product or adding functionality. Please check out what we have to offer at controlconcepts.net. And I'll be at the show Monday through Friday at InfoComm 25. I have a session with Brittany DeCessory, who's been on this program a number of times, and we're going to be talking about applying an understanding of personality types, and that's on Tuesday at 4 p.m. So if you want to do something that's not technical but could be very valuable professionally, check that out. I guarantee that you're going to walk away with some useful tips that you'll be able to apply almost immediately. And so this podcast, as you may know, is in multiple formats. We have a video version on YouTube, audio version on your favorite podcast platform. So you can check us out in one or both of those formats. And we're always looking to hear from you. And as James said, it would be an honor for you to reach out and say hi and let us know that you're at the show and that you're a listener, and as well as let us know if you want to be on the program or you have some questions or topics that you want us to cover. Please share those with us. And we look forward to seeing you and hearing from you. And until next time, this has been Ask the Programmer.